Well, look where we are again, people. What's going on, people? Welcome back to Reefer Check the Reefer, and I got another banger video for you guys today. Let's be special, baby. Let's be special. So I'm back in Clemson today, checking out the progress in the stadium, new scoreboard, and honestly, it's looking pretty impressive. Let's go take a look. So for this part, the video, I'm just going to do a voiceover because the audio with all the machinery, the equipment was backing up and beeping. It was just too much. You couldn't quite hear me talking. I'm not very happy with the result from that, so we're just going to talk over. So yeah, from the side, you can see just how tall it is from a side perspective. I mean, just look how tall it is compared to the stadium. It's reaching way up there. And in here, I'm standing in the Scroll of Honor, kind of looking up just how massive it is. It's like a wall, man. It's like a brick wall just looking up that thing. And just seeing how immense it is. I mean, just for reference, I'm going to point to in a little bit here, those the tiger statues in front of me. Those are about 6'8", 6'9". So just for view reference, yeah, I'm pointing to them right now. Those tiger statues are about 6'9". So just look how tall that thing is. I mean, and also you can see the man working up top there too. You can barely see him compared to just the sheer scale of it. I mean, it's a very impressive project, and it's coming along very rapidly compared to how it was back in the spring and before then. So this is kind of what the street looks like. They have the entire street shut down still, and I mean, I'm still amazed by just the sheer size of that looking up. It's very impressive, very big project for Clemson University, and I think it's going to help improve the stadium a lot, and it seems to be on track to finish in time for the season. We'll see, come August when the team starts practicing in there. They're going to have to get some of that equipment out there so the team can practice and have access to it and be in a safe environment to practice in that field. And especially when more students get on campus too, they're not going to have this ability to shut down this entire road without, students kind of coming by or maybe disturbing us. You know how mischievous some students can be sometimes. So especially something like that where it's a big project, the football stadium, they're going to want to get that done before students come. So this is just, I'm kind of standing up on the top of a hill, kind of up towards core, but you can see another just side parameter of just how big this project is. And also, I was zooming in there. If you look at the base of the scoreboard, you can see that they're putting some cinder blocks around the bases, and then from there, they're putting up bricks along the base to match the other brick along the stadium. So especially like you can see on the interior, the lower bowl right there, and also other parts of the stadium, like especially on the west end zone side, there's a lot of brick over there. So they're gonna make it, very like visually appealing, pretty. So I think fans are gonna be very happy with it. I'm very interested to see what they do with that student entrance over there. I'll touch on that in a bit, but they tore up a lot more than I thought they would. I mean, they completely repaved the entire thing. So we'll see what they did. Another interesting fact, too, is I was talking to one of the foremen there that was in charge of the electronics for that board and the electrical wiring and stuff, and he said it's pulling an insane amount of power. I mean, it's LED lights, so it's not going to be terrible, but just the amount of cables and wiring there is going to be a very big task for them to get wired. And you can already see they have some generators kind of situated throughout the various levels already. But he also told me that that board itself is going to have over 3,000 pounds of subwoofers and speakers. Yeah, you heard that right. 3,000 pounds of subwoofers and speakers. Man, that stadium is going to be absolutely rocking. Just rocking lights out. They're going to have no problem pumping in some noise into that. The announcer's voice is going to be great. We're going to hear some great, whether it's DJ Uyunglele with a touchdown pass to Bo Collins, or Cade Klubnik with a touchdown pass to Bo Collins. We'll see what happens with that. Or, Will Shipley busting a long run. I'm not sure if Shipley's got his own chant like ETN, the student section always start chanting ETN, ETN, ETN. But we'll see. And over here, I'm kind of trying to zoom in on the west end zone, what they're doing there. They're kind of building it almost looks like a dugout a little bit there, where they elevated the stands in the back there. I think they're going to use that more for players' families. Or, not players' families, but recruits and their families there to kind of keep them in a little separate area they can keep an eye on. I'm not quite sure, but I think they're going to use that for recruits and for recruiting purposes. But it's definitely interesting how they raise that up. And now I think they're also trying to sneak a couple suites in there too, so that could be what it's for very well too. All right, guys, so hopefully the audio is not too bad right now. They got some saws cutting concrete back there going, so it's a little iffy, and You know, I don't want to kill your ears with all the audios. You know, my microphone already does that. Jokes. More subscribe so I can get a better microphone. But anyways, so the stadium looks pretty cool. That scoreboard's absolutely massive. Like, oh man, it looks really nice too. They're laying down some brick down there with the pillars. It's gonna look really nice. And then the west end zone too, they're kind of redoing that. So that looks really interesting. I'll have to read up on that. I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on right now. I thought they were doing something else, but I'll touch base on that. But anyways, side note, so you got a bunch of freshmen kind of walk around for summer orientation, freshman orientation, sign up for classes. And I remember doing that too. And it makes me go like, dang, I'm old. I'm looking at these people walk around and it's just like, oh gosh, that was me only a couple of years ago. And oh, dang, how the time flies. But it's just a funny observation. I just look around and I'm like, oh man, wide-eyed freshmen, man. Don't know the next 4 years is gonna be absolutely great for them. And I can tell you one thing about that video board. They definitely will not be squinting to look at the scores of the other games, because when I was sitting in the student section with my buddies back in the day, we definitely had to squint to look at the scoreboard, look at the score of, NC State game, Notre Dame game, all those other teams there, because yeah, it was a little tiny up top, but it'd always get better. It'd keep getting better. But also, they're completely redoing the student entrance here, which is quite interesting. I'm interested to see what the layout is. I imagine they're just kind of expanding it, but they repaved all of that to the road. So I'm not quite sure if they're gonna do it differently, because I'll be honest, the student entrance, a little hectic, occasionally some people, allegedly got in there without having a ticket or a different ticket. Allegedly. But yeah, that just kind of adds to the college fun and the fun stories. Oh, and also on the record, I always had season tickets for the student section for the Clemson football game, so that was not me allegedly getting in there. I always had student tickets. I mean, you can check my IPTAG account. I always had them. All right, so a little quieter on this side, but you can really kind of see a side view of just how immense this thing is. I mean, those men there are probably, they probably range from, 5'10", 6 foot average. I can't really remember what the average height of the American is nowadays. I know it keeps on going up. But, I mean, the sheer size of this thing, man. I mean, they've got multiple generators in there. It looks pretty dang impressive. But, they're completely redoing this whole entrance here, too. So I'll be interested to see what exactly it is they do with that. If they're going to redo it or just rebuild it the same, because they had to fit some pieces in there, so they had to tear it down. But it's interesting, yeah. Okay, so this is what the outside of the west end zone currently looks like. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not terribly familiar with the west end zone. But hey, if anyone wants to invite me to go to a game in the west end zone, sweet, anything, I'll take it. I will be there, and I'll film a video. But yeah, so I'm not terribly familiar with it. It looks like they have a shell of a building kind of going there. It looks like a little bit of concessions. And then this is just kind of another perspective, just show how much just construction equipment, boxes, and all that. But it also looked to be redoing the railing there. I'm not quite sure if that was to get something over that railing or if they wanted to redo the wall there. I'm not quite sure why they took out that portion of the wall, but I just found that interesting that piece was missing. And they just had some 2x4s up there to prevent you from falling off. So one thing that not very many people know about Clemson is that actually right adjacent to the stadium, so the stadium's right here, is that there's actually a large cemetery with some marked and unmarked graves ranging from, people that worked in the plantation to, even a lot of former slaves in there. So you have to be really respectful when walking around here and also doing construction. You can see they have some signs up saying, unmarked graves, please be respectful. But back in April of 2021, they discovered even more graves when they started kind of figuring out some construction for this. But I mean, you can see all the white flags. I mean, the white flags there. And then, maybe you won't be able to see it, but you can see right above my finger, there's a little off-colored dot on that headstone. It's a pink flag right there too. That's marking another one. But you can see just how many there are. And not a lot of people realize that there's a lot of historical graves, a lot of African-American slaves that are buried here, but we need to be very respectful of this, and we also need to, honor them. Okay, I don't know if the audio is going to pick that up or not, but above me, there's a bunch of bats. Some people don't quite realize, too, that one of the largest colonies of bats in the state of South Carolina is actually located in this stadium. And at night, you'll see them kind of flying around, and in the mornings too, you'll see them a little bit here and there, but you can hear them throughout the day. You can hear them chirping right now. I don't know if my microphone's good enough to quite pick it up, but you can kind of hear the little something like that. I may put it on there, may put it in the video, may not put this in the video. We'll find out, but if you can, turn up the volume a little bit, listen, you can really hear just the bats and just how loud they are. It's a very high-pitched sound, which I think the microphone's gonna have trouble picking up, but you can just hear them just all just up and down this. I mean, they're all in there. They're kind of like wedged themselves in little nooks and crannies. So yeah, just cool. Another cool little thing about the stadium people don't realize too is there's a very large population of bats that live in it. Okay, well I think that's just about everything that I can see from the outside of the stadium. If I missed anything, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about the stadium renovations too, and where you think, whether it's a good idea, a bad idea. But yeah, that's all I've got for today, people. As always, have a great day. Tell somebody you love them. Deuces.